So I started in Genova, which is right by the sea. And most people here know about pesto. So it's like, it's based around basil, it's spaghetti, it's pasta. And it's called pesto, which is, if you have a chance to serve in Geneva, you have to eat pesto because that is the dish of that area. And it's incredibly amazing. You can actually get pretty legit pesto at Costco. That's, I'm not advertising for them, but if you wanted to try some, you can actually pick up a can of really good pesto from Costco, and that's a place you can try that, and you can kind of get a taste for what it's going to taste like in Genova, but just 10 bajillion times better. And next, I went up to the north to Bergamo, closer to the Alps, and there they have more of a German sort of like thicker, I guess, base. One of their main dishes is called polenta, which some people like and some people don't. What it is kind of like a cornmeal, sort of like cornbread, but it's kind of like softer. It's more like a, I don't know, like a kind of like a pastry almost substance where it's kind of like squishy, fluffy, but it's made out of corn and cornmeal. It supplements a lot of dishes that come with meat. So a lot of ragu, which is, the tomato sauce with the meat and like the spices. That's kind of like the one up in the north, that little area, Bergamo. Then I went to the south. I went to Ancona, and there's a lot of fish there. Especially if you get close to the coast, and if you serve in some of the more southern cities, you get a lot of fish. There, I had some stuff that it was a little harder for me to eat. There was a lot of octopus. And squid, and that was different. I won't go into detail how that felt, but there's a lot of that fish sort of meal, a lot of shrimp, a lot of clams and stuff like that. All of this mixing in with usually the basic foods of Italy, which is pasta, pizza, or you kind of get like sauces, breads, a lot of that stuff. Next, I went over to another coastal city over by Genova, which is pretty much the same. And then I went up to Milan. Milan is an industry, it's an industrial city. There you kind of get more of like traditional, what you think Italian food is. Some of the best things that I ate from Italy was just some of the best pizza. Because a lot of the fancier, more rich people go to the city, so you can find some really good pizza, really good pasta. The cool thing about Italy, though, is that their pizzas are not like Italian pizzas. And there's a couple places here where you can kind of get it, but your portion of pizza is a whole pizza. So that's what you get when you order a pizza. And it costs nothing. I think it's like $3 for a whole pizza, or maybe a little bit more than that, actually. And what it is that they're not thick like the American pizzas, but they're just more of a thinner crust. And the sauces and everything are kind of what make it, but it's totally edible. The thing is, like, you'll be so surprised how easy it is to eat a whole pizza in Italy than it is to eat here in America, which is really interesting. And then so Milan, and then after Milan, I went to Torino, which is just right under south, which is another industrial city. There's a couple good things. Desserts start pulling in right there. One dessert that you'll have to actually be careful with, especially if you're eating it in Italy. I guess there's two things you have to be careful with, and there's a really famous dessert called tiramisu, and tiramisu is delicious. It's so good, but you have to be careful because it's made with coffee most of the time. And so a lot of the missionaries eat it. It's like, oh, it's so scrumptious, but like it tastes like coffee. It's like, it is coffee. And so, but the members have adapted it, and now they make it with like hot cocoa powder and stuff like that instead of like instead of coffee powder and stuff like that. Yeah. And you also have to be careful with candy, because a lot of the candy is made with alcohol. So you have to make sure you read the wrapper, or just wait until your throat starts stinging, one of those two, that you've been taking a little bit of alcohol in you. Everyone ends up finding out some way or another, so there's that. Either your companion tells you or tricks you into it, which you shouldn't do. I mean, don't do that. But and then from there, I went over to Venice, and Venice has a little bit of mix of, I think since it's just kind of like an artsy place, they have a little bit of everything. Also close to Austria, so they have more Germanic, or like more meats and like more heavier dishes. But you kind of get the artistic, like really delicate side of food, and I feel in the Venetian area. You get the really fine, fancy pastas, and you get the really elegantly made pizzas, and just like the smells and the sounds of Italy you will find there. A lot of the times, I guess this could be a whole interview in itself, but finding the food in Italy is incredible because it's all outside, and you cannot expect to get something to eat from a store after like 7 or 8 in the evening. Actually 6 or 7. Everything starts closing down, except for late night pizzerias or where people are getting drunk and stuff like that. Grocery stores do not stay open 24/7. If you need to get something, make sure you get it before you go back into your apartment, because then it's closed. They don't open till the next morning. They don't like working overnight. There's actually, I don't think I ever saw something that's open 24/7, like Walmart or anything like that. It doesn't exist in Italy. So you have to make sure you get your supply before you come in that evening, or if you don't have any food, then you can't eat till the next morning. But I mean, the fun thing is that at night, a lot of the culture starts coming out. So you have like the people, everyone takes out their tables outside, and at these tables, and they start bringing out the pizzas and the pie. You start smelling it in the streets a lot of the times, and you also start hearing the traditional Italian music. And in a lot of places, you start hearing the accordions, or you start hearing those, like, just the typical what you would hear in Italy sort of thing. And but then other than that as well, it's getting a lot more modern. So there's a lot of like more of like poppy music and stuff. But either way, like it comes alive at night as far as it knows. But yeah, food is, your taste palate's gonna go everywhere. But I'm pretty sure most of it's going to be, 80% of it's going to be delicious, because it's just, they really care about it. And you'll see it in the morning when you walk out. Every woman, or all the women, the wives, are out buying fresh bread. 3 things: fresh bread, fresh cheese, and fresh meat. Every morning you'll see either the old ladies go out, which you'll be surprised because most of the old ladies ride bicycles. So you see like this 90-year-old lady riding a bicycle, and you're like, wow, because every city is walkable. It's not made for cars. So you walk everywhere, and it's amazing to know that you can walk to the grocery store, to the clothing store, to the electronics store, to the every store. You just walkability. But those 3 things they go out and buy every morning: fresh bread, fresh cheese, and fresh meat. And any house that you'll go eat, you'll have all those 3 freshly bought that morning, because they don't believe in like really refreezing all that kind of stuff. Like they eat their meal that they bought that day, and they eat the next meal. Like it's just day by day they eat their stuff. Of course, I mean, it is modern. There's refrigerators, there's food that you keep, but a lot of the time it's just that fresh food, which makes it iconic. So.